Hey guys, hi, hello. You're gonna watch the Master Key to Riches chapter 7, the Mastermind. So, the audio session 2 of chapter 7. Here you go. The ultimate example of mastermind principle. Let us turn back the pages of time for nearly half a century and have a look at a family whose mastermind principle relationship resulted in a building of a great industrial empire which now gives a profitable employment to millions of women and men. So the scene opens in the kitchen of their humble home, and the husband sets up a roughly constructed model of a gasoline engine, and his wife is feeding gasoline into the engine a drop at a time with the aid of an eyedropper, and the husband is manipulating the spark plug with which he hoped to ignite the gas. After weeks of tireless because it has been supported with love, the gas ignites and the flywheel of the crude engine begins to turn. And there was no money behind this experiment, nothing behind it except the definiteness of purpose of two people who had formed a mastermind alliance for the fulfillment of that purpose. And there was no promise of immediate or direct monetary compensation behind the experiment, and it had to be conducted by applying the principles of going extra mile too. And but as a result of this effort, the model was perfect and was the first practical self-propelled vehicle ever built in America become a reality. Then the Mastermind Alliance was extended to include skilled mechanics and a few friends and acquaintances. So who contributed small amount of working capital for the productions of automobiles. Today, the production of automobiles has reached fantastic proposition as comparison with the humblest beginning of the product of two-unit mastermind partnership. And the man behind the production is one of the 500 from whose life experience the philosophy of individual achievement was organized. And one hardly needs to be reminded that his name is Henry Ford. And as Ford production grew and Ford Mastermind was increased until it now includes the veritable army of mechanics, engineers, chemists, researchmen, financial experts, salesmen, and many other types of skilled labor, of which are essential for so extensive an operation. Though his money-mind alliance, Mr. Ford has multiplied his own brain by many thousands. Without this alliance, he could not carry on his vast industrial activities. So, it has endured for nearly half a century and will continue to endure because the power of products benefits all whom it affects. And here, let us take a notice that no mastermind alliance can endure unless the benefits of all whom it affects. So look well to the purpose of your mastermind alliance before you begin it. And you who see the power through the cooperation of human endeavor, if you would have been enduring power, be sure that it has applied to end the benefits of all whom are affected by it. And power may be very dangerous, or it may serve to glorious of the deeds of man, and according to the way it is used. So the mastermind is the way to great power, and like all other forms of power, it is the subject to either a positive or a negative applications by those who wield it. And there is no mere statement of an obvious truism of the records of the deeds of mankind, all be were witnessed to its truth. Ever great philosopher from the days of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates down to the days of William James and Ralph Waldo Emerson also recognized it and called attention to it. Electricity will do the work of man provided adapts himself to its nature, but also it snuffs out life if it is applied for the purpose. So the imagination cannot convince any good that may not be converted to a destructive ends, and food is necessary for the maintenance of life, and it is good when properly used, but the wrong way use of food or too much food will do as much as harm will the most potent poison. So the next topic we are going to see in chapter 7, the mastermind, is the importance of using the mastermind responsibly. So have an understandable interpretation of the greatest source of a personal power known to men. The mastermind responsibility for its right use is yours. Use it as Henry Ford has done, and you will be blessed as he has been, with the privilege of occupying great space in the world space that can be estimated in both geography and in human relationship, which are friendly and cooperative. For it is an accepted fact that Mr. Ford occupies more friendly space in the hearts of his fellow professionals than does any other industrialist. So Mr. Ford master's mind consists not only in his harmonious alliance with his associate workers and his technical staffs, but it extended far beyond, and these includes the masses of American people who have stood on the sidelines and watched him go by, and people like you and me who recognize the sound business and personal philosophy and respect its use wherever it is observed. We emphasize Mr. Ford's applications of mastermind because there is not to be found and in the entire history of industrial America a finer example that is of individual achievement based on the American way of life. He has benefited almost everyone whose life has been touched by his influence, and it is very doubtful if he himself recognized the full scope of measure of his influence on American life. So the mastermind power the control of Henry Ford is a blessing and not a curse or a danger, as it might be if it were wielded by someone with less vision than he possessed. All of which is an observation of Mr. Ford, not to eulogize him but to inspire all who seeks any forms of personal aggrandizement under the American way of life. In an analysis of Henry Ford and 50 other outstanding Americans representing the wide variety of occupations based upon the 17 principles of the philosophy, Mr. Ford led others by a wide margin on the first 3 principles, going the extra mile. Finiteness of purposes and the mastermind. He rated 100% plus, and the plus indicates that he had made extraordinary use of these 3 principles, a fact that was established by a close observation and analysis of his achievement and their influence for good throughout the world. And he let us be reminded that the first member of his mastermind alliance, his wife, occupied first place in the alliance throughout his lifetime. Her influence upon him was continuous and profound, so profound, in fact, that it might not be an exaggeration to say that had there been no Mr. Ford, there would have been no great Ford industrial empire, as the world of today knows it. Henry Ford made a mistake. Some of them were the result of error of judgment, and others were the result of cause beyond his control. But those who know all the facts concerning his life actor will tell you that he made only 2 mistakes of major importance, and these were promptly mended by his own design and personal initiative as soon as they were discovered. What a record! Duplicate it and you will have made indispensable contribution to the American way of life. Moreover, the compensation to you will be measured by compound interest and compound interest for every act and deed. The man stopped speaking. A member of the audience shyly raised his hand, and it was first question that a man had taken all day. "Excuse me," the participant asked, and the speaker nodded towards the audience member, and "Please," he said. "So I would just like to know why we have paired up this morning." And as the audience member, the speaker raised his brows, and recognizing the importance of this question, "I nearly forgot," he replied. "Thank you. I paired you together so that you might take a little time to get to know one another of the audience fully, to learn what you can from and them, to see them, and if you will, as a potential mastermind alliance. While marriage can be an ultimate alliance, it is but only one application of the lesson. Each person you meet has the ability to help you in further pursuit of your goals. Even by taking only a few minutes today to get to know your neighbors, you will find that you both have something to offer the both other. And I'll tell you more about how to achieve the mastermind principles in tomorrow's lesson, as seen through the eyes of a wise teacher of the philosophy, Mr. Andrew Carnegie himself. In the meantime, I invite each of you to begin realize your definite major purpose and begin to do so at this very moment. Take few minutes to share the major purpose with your partner today. Let them help you refine and shape your purpose so that it serves you in the best way possible. Remember, do not be afraid to aim high when you establish your goal. And you live in a land of opportunity where no one is limited in the quality and the quantity or nature of the riches one may acquire provided one is willing to give adequate value in return. Before you fix your goal in a life, memorize the following lines by Just B. Rittenhouse, entitled My Wage, from his book The Dose of Dream, and take to heart the lesson they teach. I bargained with a life for a penny, and a life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening, and when I counted my scanty store. My life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask. And but once you have set the wages, why you must bear that task. I wonder I worked for a menial hire only to learn dismayed, and that my wage I had asked to life, and life would have willingly paid. Successful people do not bargain with life for poverty, and they know that there is a power through which life may be made to pay off on their own terms. They know that this power is available to everyone who comes into possession of the master key to riches. They know the nature of this power and its unlimited scope, and they know it by name of one word, the greatest word in the English language. This word is known to all, but the secrets of its power are understood by very few. And thus in the chapter 7 mastermind of the master key to riches, and see you soon in chapter 8 Andrew Carnegine's analysis of the mastermind principles.